Making Misery. Has anyone just done karaoke as a podcast before? Is that a podcast technically?
They probably run into too many
copyright strikes. Yeah. I would love. Can we? Because what is the? Are we live?
Yeah.
We're live. Sick. Okay. Because what is the copyright? Like, can I play it music over there?
Also, a lot of karaoke is not normal songs; it's MIDI versions.
Yeah. Absolutely. All karaoke should stop. I will sing some more of the song in a second, but all karaoke should be a short form of the song. Everyone needs to realize if I ever ran a karaoke night, you get 2 minutes. You do 2 minutes of the song, and wherever the fuck the song is. Now, if you have a song that there's like a part of it where it's like, no, that's the part you got to do. Like if you wanted to like Scaramouche on like Bohemian Rhapsody or something, it is difficult to reference now knowing how limited your rock music knowledge is.
Oh, I know that one. Come on, Wayne's World.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Wayne's World. Like, that's when I learned about that song.
Yeah, but you also, but you could go Platoon and you thought Fleetwood Mac was in that.
Fair enough. Yes.
So like,
that was a fall from grace. But in general, songs that are in movies, I'm good. I may not know who sang them, but if you reference a lyric in it, I'll go, oh yeah. I did think it was Scaramouche, like similar to the restaurant.
It is. It's Scaramouche.
Oh, I thought you said Scaramouche.
No, I think it's Scaramouche.
Okay, good. I was hearing it
right. One time, I was in England. I was in Brighton, England, a little town. If you're not familiar, about an hour south of London. It's a nice town. It's right on the ocean. It's kind of there like Niagara Falls in a weird way.
Okay.
Yeah, you buy like toffee but it's quaint. It's like of Niagara Falls in like 1757. You know.
Oh, so maybe a little Atlantic City and Boardwalk Empire.
Sure. Absolutely. And so we're in this like it was a bed and breakfasty style place, but had this big dining room area overlooking the ocean. And we overheard this fight. It was the most British fight I've ever heard in my life. So it's a son and a dad, and the son, the dad is apologizing clearly for the way he treated the mother in death. And so the son gives like the most dramatic fucking speech. It was me and Simon King. Simon King, a comic from Vancouver, can vouch for this. It was like something about like you stop you stop the car and open the door, and something happened. Like he had done something to their mother before she died, and then it was like if I could, I will piss on your grave until the acid makes your body rise. I don't remember how elegant he put it more eloquently, but essentially what he was saying is I'm going to piss on you so much that you float in the piss to the surface of the earth. Like there's so much piss on your grave. And then I'm pretty sure he stole this from something, but it was like until all the stars in the sky crumble and shake until there's darkness upon dark. Wow. And then he said he kept calling him Beelzebub, like the funnest devil thing that you could call somebody. And the most British shit in the world, we're in a packed dining room in this hotel of people like checking out and having breakfast and whatever. Everyone acted like nothing was going on. Right. Like it was just the most dramatic fucking like HBO TV show you've ever seen, and everyone was just, acting like nothing. But you know what they say, Sanker? They say misery loves company. At the beginning of every podcast, maybe I'll karaoke a song and see with the mandolin, see how many people get it. We could start a company and make misery frustrated incorporated. Let's see if I played. Did we get our episode taken down for playing the?
What's going?
Oh, that's up today. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
So we'll find out. I did edit it right before I came here, so it's ready to go up. I added the part.
Just curious. I want to know, as we're not famous, how much more things we can get away with. They say misery. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is our 2026 year primer. Primer?
Yeah.
That sounds right. You know what I mean? Like we're getting you primed and ready for all the things coming in 2026. If you listen to our first episode back, where I went over, we'll say the list of things that have happened since we've been gone, you'll know that I have a pretty good track record of being able to understand what our current events might be shaping us towards in the future. So this episode is going to be my attempt to maybe give you a little heads up of what I could see. I don't know if there's not, I mean, this isn't certainly Biff stealing the almanac and going back to the 50s or whatever to make the money or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to be like that level of accuracy. Like I don't have an almanac from the future, but this is like as close to a Biff's almanac to the future as I could possibly give. So, I mean, I guess we should talk about 2025 a little bit. What's the big takeaway from 2025?
For me, it's a lot of infighting.
Like at home? What do you mean?
Oh no!
It's you and your chick having
personal
problems?
life.
Yeah.
Personal life. No infighting. No, I meant like, the right wing turning on itself, left wing turning on itself. There's a lot of that going on.
I think you could say that 2025 was the year that the MAGA coalition finally, I think, fully split apart.
Yeah.
I think over Israel, weirdly enough, but I think Israel is the fracturing point in the MAGA coalition. You have Candace going after Turning Point and Erica Kirk.
Yeah.
Looking more psychotic every day.
Oh.
Like those eyes get wilder and wild. I don't know. And I feel bad. I have a similar feeling to Erica Kirk that I do Courtney Love. Like Erica Kirk is sort of the Courtney Love of our time because think about it, right? How long after Kurt Cobain's death do you think it took for people to start blaming Courtney Love?
I wasn't paying attention at the
Yeah,
time.
I mean, I was alive, but not.
Yeah, I was. So I'm gonna just throw out a month.
Well, but so here's the thing. I don't know that there's a timeline where no one thought it and then all of a sudden people thought it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where there are people who live in that world who start kind of going, "Ooh, something seems a little weird there." And then they start, and it kind of drags more and more people in.
Right.
I think we're at a tipping, like, if you look at Erica Kirk at how soon after her husband was shot publicly in front of the world to death, and we're already starting to go, did Erica Kirk have something to do with his assassination? I could see a real Courtney Love. There's a prediction for 2026. I think you continue to see this Erica Kirk had something to do with Charlie Kirk's death storyline start careening into a Courtney Love type territory.
Sure.
It's funny how many conservatives said Charlie Kirk was going to be their Martin Luther King, and it actually turned out Charlie Kirk was the right's Nirvana. What a strange turn of events that is. Yeah. He's actually just the right's Kurt Cobain. We're going to find out he fucked a retarded kid in high school. That's a Kurt Cobain thing. I'm sure you're not.
What happened to Matt Walsh? Is he not involved in any of this discussion? What happened to that guy?
Matt Walsh did fall. Well, his movies suck. That's the problem. The movies are just very boring and like I feel like the problem is that, and this has more to do with I think the way our entertainment economy works now. You can't make a movie on that stuff because by the time you're done producing an entire film, the talking point is kind of like, we got it, Matt Walsh. What's a lady? We got it. Like I feel like by the time he's able to produce an entire full length film, that's something that I thought maybe not 2025, but more 2024. I thought that we were heading in more of this direction. But the problem is it's so political right now. Remember when the Daily Wire started producing films?
Yeah.
Like, I think they did Matt Walsh's movie.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah.
I think I had a pretty deep sense that that's where, like, now that it's becoming cheaper and cheaper to produce movies, we're going to start seeing more of these sort of Like I could see Barstool Films within 2026.
Sure,
Maybe
yeah.
not Barstool. That's actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back because his Jew thing is not helping him at all. But like,
But again, I
well,
think
it's going to
that's
help
just
him
gonna
get some
go
funding.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's just gonna go away. Everyone's gonna stop caring.
Yeah, but when I don't know that he survived. I don't know if Portnoy survives this because the whole brand is I make jokes and I don't
All right.
care and I don't whatever, and he's kind of ruined his brand.
I've just thought of my prediction, but I'll hold on to it when the teacher addresses this.
Okay,
I don't want to call myself a student. I'm not that much of a pussy.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah, it's a bit much. Yeah, I
just
don't
meant
want to
the
call you out
class.
like that. Yeah,
You know, yeah.
No, please, you just fire away now.
Well, mine is the more I think about it, I'm like, this is my prediction. Not a single 2025 cancellation of sorts or whatever is going to stick.
interesting.
I think this will be a weird year where it's like we were shooting off our guns a little too quick on some people. Yeah, even a Rappaport. It's just we're gonna forget about it.
See, I don't know if Rappaport's just not, and this is kind of what I'm saying about Portnoy. Not that if Rappaport was in an amazing TV series or something, I guess I could see
That's what I'm saying.
him surviving it. Maybe.
Depending on career moves,
Yeah.
it's all of 2025 is forgivable.
So
I don't
who-
think it meant anything.
Who is the most canceled person in 2025? Who do we just learn? I guess Diddy? Diddy's the litmus test. Can Diddy survive?
I don't think he'll reach the heights, but I think, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I guess him will stick.
Here's a
maybe.
prediction I'm going to say that sides with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put this on wax as well for a prediction. And maybe we'll try to like keep track of the predictions and put like a scoreboard up or something. Diddy will release new music in 2026.
Producer or his under his banner.
He will be on it.
He will be on it.
He will
Okay.
be on it. It will be. I'll get into detail. It will be feature heavy, but it will be under his name. It will be at least a single, if not an album, under his name with some features that probably he'll pay some people that maybe help him for whatever reason.
Sure, yeah.
Kind
Which
of
is what he
smooth it
always
over
did.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Throw Drake on a track.
Ooh, that might be a tough sell.
But what?
If I'm Drake, I'm not making that deal because you're in recovery mode for a while now.
I think lean in even further into what you're saying is if you're going, I think the move in 2026, if you're going to survive this, is ownership. You own the thing. Who's listening to Drake still after his beef with Kendrick? People that don't care
Yeah.
about that situation. So what is lost by him working with Diddy if the people who still listen to Drake already don't give a shit about the allegations against him?
True, yeah. And I just think a lot of people, not many people are going to care that much. I just feel this year feels like a fucking blink, and everything that happened in it doesn't fucking matter. Besides, I mean, to Charlie Kirk's family, I'm sure that
Yeah. I guess that is the event of the year is
Yeah,
Charlie
yeah.
Kirk's death. But okay, I will further produce. This is my full prediction on this.
All right.
There will be a track this year produced by Kanye West with both Diddy and Drake on it.
That I can't say is impossible. That it'll never happen because
And
Seems plausible.
Kanye's not going to wait. He's not going to give it a year's time to be graceful. I think in 2026 there will be a lift yourself style kind of joke single that comes out with Kanye, Diddy, and Drake, just sort of addressing all of the shit. An HH for pedophilia.
that might do it.
All my N words are pedos. That's another prediction for whatever. Will we find Charlie Kirk's killer in 2025? You know what? I'm boldly going to say we didn't have a Candace Owens after 9/11, and maybe we needed it. Maybe we needed a Candace Owens after 9/11, and I think with what Candace Owens is doing, I think Ian Carroll, cancel Ian Carroll, deserves a little credit as well. I think in 2025, we find Charlie Kirk's killer.
Officially by
We
the
have
world
found
standard. Yes,
Charlie
okay. I'm
Kirk's
just
killer.
yeah. I wanted to double check. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
It was
we have Tyler Robinson.
Right. It was a guy. Sounds like a comic. That's kind of funny. This is the first time I heard his name, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds like a comic I would book.
It sounds like he'd be at an open mic.
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
could,
yeah,
yeah. Like you pull. I feel like you pull Tyler Robinson's name out of a bucket at 9:45 p.m.
Yeah.
So we will find Charlie Kirk's killer. What ripple effect will this have on politics? The Epstein files will do nothing.
Yeah.
They did it perfect. They dragged it on just long enough that, and here's what's genius about the flip-flop job, and understand Democrats that, or liberals, you are the useful idiot in the Epstein files. You were not ahead of it. You were not first to the trough on this particular issue, and they have now used you to make no one care about this. When just conservatives seem to give a shit about the Epstein files, it was going somewhere. And then whoever's actually in charge above Trump did a very smart judo flip, right? Because if you make it all about something that liberals want to sink their teeth into, where it's like, oh, we just want to find Trump in all of this. We just want to find whatever.
Yeah.
No one cares. Bill Clinton's in pictures. All these other people are indicated in all of this stuff, and no one gives a fuck about any of it aside from, is Trump Waldo in the background of a fucking picture of any of this? And I'm not saying Trump's not a pedophile. Again, to all the people who think I'm a Trump supporter, send me your animations of Trump butt fucking a kid in the ass. I don't know. I don't care.
Let's emphasize animation.
Animation, yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you have
evidence
of
but
Trump,
we wouldn't call it. We would call it "send me your evidence."
you send me your evidence.
That's the least pedophilic way of saying that. Is I would like all the evidence.
Yes, and listen, I'm just saying, if it's Trump butt fucking a kid in the ass, that's pretty concrete. I would say you are holding better evidence than most of the other evidence,
Right.
besides just, hey, I met Prince Andrew once or whatever. I'd say if you have photos of Trump butt fucking a kid, I would say. And by the way, send it here first. We'll get it to all the proper channels. But if we could break a story like that, I feel like that would do really good for our numbers. But that's the Epstein files. Nothing will come of it because they played you perfectly correct. For years, Alex Jones was trying to get you to give a shit. We were trying to get you to fucking care. And it wasn't until bad orange guy maybe is associated with a guy that anyone gave a shit. And now that's all anyone will fucking care about. And if you point out anybody else, they'll go, but Trump was in it too. And it's like, great. So you don't care that your guy butt fucked a kid. Good to hear. I want you to hear that, liberals. You're the ones who don't care that your people butt fuck kids. You are trying to Carl Jungianly make the conservatives the shadow here. It's your fault. It's not their fault they don't care anymore. You made it only about their one guy. When it was about your guys, you didn't care. And now you've made it all about their guy, and so they don't fucking care. The truth is, most of you don't care if kids get fucked. And if you look into it, a lot of you probably fuck your kids. So I'm going to predict that in 2026, a lot of kids are still going to get fucked. Way more than should.
I mean, yes.
I'm going to say easily 200,000% more kids are going to get fucked than should.
Yes.
Does that mean that only 200,000 kids are going to get fucked? How does that work exactly? Well, what if I think 4 kids should get fucked? Does that mean that 800,000 kids will get fucked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That seems
it's a
right.
multiplication. That's
Yeah.
You go over 100%. You're multiplying it by whatever that.
Yeah.
You know.
So, okay. Well, how many kids do we think get fucked a year?
Depends who you ask. You know. But
okay, there's 330 million people roughly in the United States, right? And then how many of them are going to be children? Here, let's try to work this out.
If I go percentages, if I'm to just be honest off the top of my head, 20 to 25% of kids get at least molested.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not.
I think that's like a good number. Cute kids higher, depending on how cute the kid is and how creepy their uncle is. It's a mix of that.
Okay. How many children under 8 exist in the U.S. today? It's about approximately 35 million children. So we're going to do 35 million kids divided by 4. So it's about 8,700,000. So, okay. So then we're going to divide that by 200,000%. So by my estimation, 43 kids deserved it. Like if based on what we assume the kid fuckery in the United States is per year on a percentage base. By the way, I think 25% is probably kind of low. So like,
I could be wrong.
I would say it's probably like.
I'm trying to think like, do I think a quarter of my friends have been molested?
Well, I
would say yeah.
Emily Kerm, if you're watching, I know what you did.
Okay. So that'll bump it
yeah.
up for me. I mean, I guess a third. With you, a third, maybe.
So like, okay, so a
33%.
So then we're going to go, again, 35 million children times 0.33. Wait, that was wrong. Now there's more children getting raped for some reason. What happened here? 35 million times, we'll say, 0.30% of them. Oh, I must have done the math wrong the first time because it's 10 million now. Somehow 2 million more kids got raped the second time I did it. Anyways, the point is that's probably still going to happen. But less. Do you think there's less kid rape than there was historically? There has to be.
Historically, like if we go
percentage-wise, like obviously there's more
percentage-wise to
people.
like the Middle Ages,
Early
or whatever.
1900s, let's even say.
I don't know. It's like the access to it similarly to like killing people was a lot easier back then, harder to get caught, stuff like that. So do I think there was more? But then also I think we're a degrading culture.
But a way higher percentage of people were murdered back then. Like 50%
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Of men under like 40 at the turn of the century, the 19th century, I believe it was like 50-something% of men still died in a war. Like at the turn of the 19th century.
Right. But either way, what I'm saying is I have this thing that bumps up in my head. It's like hard to figure out, do I think things are getting better or worse? It was easier to commit crimes, whether it was murder, pedophilia, whatever, back in the day. Because less cameras, less DNA, less, care.
Less care, yeah.
Less care. There's all those things that make it more likely to have happened back then. But I have this weird theory that as we improve the world or whatever technology, all this kind of stuff get better, we're increasing the amount of, I don't know, more serial killers, more all that.
See, but I don't think the numbers back you up on this.
Maybe they don't.
Yeah, I think that it is getting safer. Listen, I come off as a pessimistic guy, but I'm oddly optimistic. I think a lot of times the world is getting better all the time. Like almost everything about the world is always getting better.
Yes, I guess I'm just a believer. You know the stupid, I don't want to be a fucking manosphere loser, but the whole Rome thing.
Yeah.
The better things got for Rome, people got bored and then just...
Yes, it things it easier, but we go through cycles of that regardless. Like, yes, the reason everybody is like non-binary and poly and whatever is because things are good. You don't have poly relationships when you have to worry about fucking surviving. It's you're not going to handle those arguments when eating is the first priority. You're certainly not going to feed 2 fucking girlfriends when you imagine you were a hunter-gatherer society and you had to go kill 2 fucking buffalo every day.
Yeah. But I mean, they were more, in favor of the more left-wing people who believe in socialism. I think they were in more socialist society of like, sharing and stuff like that.
I think that is propaganda horseshit. I think if you were literally responsible for keeping a bitch alive, like so much more so now, fuck Andrew Tate, fuck any of that stuff. manly necessity back then was so much greater than now that I don't think there's a fucking chance in the world you were going out all day risking your life and then you got home and your chick was fucking another guy in the community. Nah, I think you kill both of them and eat the fucking saber tooth yourself.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean sexually. Yeah, no one, fucks my girl. I think that's always been a thing.
Yeah.
But that's also because that's like wolves and lions and stuff. Like, if you fuck my girl, we fight.
Yeah.
And then one of us lives or
This
dies.
is what I'm saying. I don't know that.
I meant more as like you and me and one other guy would go out and hunt, and instead of me just bringing back one wildebeest, we all together bring back 5, and the community eats that, and that was socialism. Now I watched a video on this where someone explained there's actually nothing wrong with socialism in a small community of, let's say, 20 to 30 people. It's when you try to apply that to millions in a city, it just doesn't make sense anymore.
Well, and again, harkening back to a couple episodes ago, I'd argue the same thing about libertarianism, where the best example is the 13 colonies of the United States of America with 50,000 people.
Good harken.
But here's what I would say is that to flip that argument back around again, then conversely. So let's say there's 8 of you in the community, right? And let's say you were fortunate enough that it was 4 girls and 4 guys. If you had one guy with 2 of the girls or 3 of the girls, and then the other 3 guys are just standing there watching him bang away while they're collecting whatever, how long till they kill that guy? I don't think that world ever actually existed. I think it's kind of horseshit. I think that we all probably lived around each other, and yes, did we eat the same buffalo and work as a community? Sure. But I think at the end of the night, did you all go back to your own tents? This is why, but I think the Guys We Fucked podcast, not to single them out, but I will single them out, podcasts that kind of spent the last 10 to 15 years sort of promoting that was like a lifestyle that people actually were a part of prior, and that they actually had like, oh no, this is just sort of society has set it up that we have one person. I think probably the Guys We Fucked podcast has done more harm to women than like the husband stitch did, or the husband stitch was back in the day when your wife gave birth. The doctor would sometimes put an extra stitch in her pussy to like keep it tight, and they call that the husband stitch, and it like killed ladies. They're definitely worse than that. I'm trying to think what thing has been worse,
more detrimental
to women worldwide than the Guys We Fucked podcast. Is there like
suffrage?
Suffrage, maybe? Maybe. I don't know that suffrage. Yeah. Like, I mean, I thought you were saying like prior to suffrage.
Oh.
I think the world prior to suffrage was probably better for women than the world that Guys We Fucked was trying to create. Here's a prediction for 2026. Both people from the Guys We Fucked podcast will be miserable. They will both be sad whores. But I think more particularly, again, toxic shock syndrome, I think, hasn't been as detrimental to them. What's killed like a lot of women? I guess childbirth before antiseptic was probably worse for women than Guys We Fucked, but like pretty equal. I guess it depends what you consider worse, because that was sort of just at least there was a fulfillment in that, whereas you're sort of, the Guys We Fuck podcast almost kind of strips you of any fulfillment that you might have. So I actually think maybe women dying in childbirth was better than that podcast, possibly. There's an argument can be made, is what I'm saying, is that technically women dying in childbirth might not have been as bad for them because they would feel at least fulfilled in death, whereas the empty life anyways. So 2026, they're going to be miserable. What the fuck was the point of this originally?
We're predicting 2026.
Thank you. I didn't mean so much
what
the overall episode, but more so just the tangent. But
yeah, it was a tangent on you predicting sad women.
Yeah. I don't know where we started on what was worse for them. Just think, is there anything else that was... All the serial killers, like Ted Bundy wasn't as bad. I would say, like, if you had to put in who harmed,
Right.
like, let me put it this way before we move on. If there was a Mount Rushmore of people who have harmed women,
Yeah.
they, as a podcast, get 2 out of the 4 heads, which is pretty impressive. You know what I mean? Like, for a single entity, it would be like if on Mount Rushmore you had a president and vice president on out of 2 out of the 4 heads.
What is the podcast? They just have on guys they fucked, or
They did that for a long time until
that's what I thought.
their pussies couldn't sustain it any longer.
Sure.
And then
Now it's
they just
talks
yeah.
about progressive sexual lives.
Yes,
in general.
exactly.
Okay.
They've you know.
I don't have a problem with that,
They
though.
pretend like Monica Lewinsky wasn't trying to get ahead.
Right.
Yeah, things like that on a very special episode. Anyways, so hopefully they 2026 prediction, they move back to Luminary so that no one has to hear from them again. We're going to move to Luminary. Actually, I'm announcing 2026. We're signing a deal with Luminary so that
Hey, by the way, signing deals. I did my own prediction on this podcast. I asked you, do you think anyone will sign their podcast to Netflix? And then literally a week later,
who's signing Netflix?
Two podcasts. Let me look it up. 2 podcasts signed to Netflix.
It can't be Call Her Daddy.
One is not a podcast, but it's sort of a podcast if you think about it. Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club is going to Netflix.
That's a podcast,
Yeah, exactly.
especially if it's on Netflix. I mean, it's not a. What do you say? It's a radio show on Netflix. Like that doesn't make any more sense. Wow. So they're just basically like, we couldn't. Nothing that Charlemagne gave us worked. So
Right.
let's
There's a
just
bit of-
take the thing he already is doing and just put it on our thing.
I'm surprised you didn't hear about this one because I know you mentioned it. Barstool Sports podcast going to Netflix.
So Barstool Sports Podcast. Is that Portnoy?
All of them. So it's saying, for example,
so all of the-
Pardon My Take, everything under Barstool Sports.
Okay,
is going to
KFC?
Netflix. This is the AI overview.
Got it.
So it says,
Okay.
The Breakfast Club, My Favorite Murder, and Barstool's Sports Podcasts, plural,
Okay.
are all going to Netflix.
Well, that's great. Lil Sass, KFC Radio, all the people not in directly related to supporting a genocide. Good for you guys. I think it's not smart. It's about 10 years too late. I'll say, hey, Ted Sarandis. Here's my prediction for 2026.
Uh-huh.
That check is not going to look good
For meaning
for Netflix.
Oh, it's not going to turn out.
That's
well
not going to be money
it's
well
not
spent.
gonna-
That's not going to be. I love KFC. I love SAS. I love like a lot of the guys on a network. I think for a long time, Barstool, that guy is super impressive. A few years ago, I would have said Dave Portnoy had a real chance to be able to run for president one day. And now I don't think there's a chance in fucking hell.
No, but I think it changed even before this stuff. I think he was. I think Barstool Sports it didn't run its course, but it settled into what it was going to be, and he wasn't going to get bigger past that.
I guess I thought the small business loans, like Portnoy is a very defendable person for
Sure,
a long
yeah,
time. And it literally is just, and what is crazy about that is that he'll look at that and when I say him, I mean anybody sort of in the super pro Israel sort of bubble is going to go, like they're being affected by this, which obviously he's not. He's going to get the check regardless, even though nobody watches. But their popularity being hit, they're going to look at as like anti-Semitism is real and this is the whatever. And they're not going to take any accountability for the fact that if you were also like ask Bryce Mitchell, the UFC fighter who told everybody how much Hitler was misunderstood. Ask that fella what supporting a genocide does for your career, right? But none of these guys, Portnoy, none of them, Rappaport, anybody, is going to, when their careers are affected by the Israel thing, they're going to go, oh, Jews are out right now or whatever. Mm-hmm. They just... And they create their own, like they're shooting. I guess there's no better term than shooting yourself in the foot with it, but that is what they're doing. They're just going like, they all hate us for this, and it's like, no. We just, it is possible. And this is what I would love to say to any Jewish person that thinks that people are just being hateful to Jews. What did you think the response should be to killing a bunch of children? Like, and I understand that the response will be a justification. If your knee-jerk reaction to the sentence I just said was to find reasons why children should have died, right? Like, if you were like, no, those kids died because of. Like, think about that sentence for a second. In what other world, in what other situation would you justify kid death no matter what, right? Like, if Donald, let's bring it back because I think there's a good cross-section of people who are anti-Donald Trump but also pro-Israel. That definitely exists. The Rob Reiner type, we'll call them. Rob Reiner loved Israel. I'm not saying that's why his kid killed him, but if let's just say if it turned out that Nick Reiner killed Rob and Michelle Reiner because he didn't like Rob Reiner's stance on Israel, does that change anything for anybody? What if we found Nick Reiner's manifesto and it said, my dad's stance on Israel was monstrous and I couldn't stand to see his legacy be tarnished anymore by his opinion on a genocide? Would we all then turn around and go, you know what? It was actually good that Rob Reiner was killed.
There's a prevailing theory about why he was killed.
Okay.
Prevailing. It's hitting all the news. It's prevailing.
I can't believe I've missed a prevailing theory.
It's the number one theory.
An underground theory, I've been pretty busy putting this place together.
Yeah.
So missing an underground theory, I understand. But missing a prevailing theory
this
is pretty
the
wild
number one
for me.
theory. It's widely believed.
Conan's party sucked?
No, came from the mouth of the president himself. You didn't hear about this one?
The Trump derangement syndrome?
Yes, I mean, prevailing theory, Trump derangement syndrome. He went a little crazy. Nick probably was like, hey, Dad, he's actually a good guy, and you're going a little crazy. Kill.
Listen, I will say, and again, I'm not siding with Trump on he deserved to die, although I will say he did support hundreds of thousands of Gazan children being killed. I do want everyone to remember as they're defending Rob Reiner, that was his stance on that. He was okay with the Gazan children being killed. I just want everyone to remember that. However, it's also just not that, who brings, so do you know the part of the story that they had to get permission to bring Nick to the party?
No, the Diddy party?
Yes.
No,
where he was fucked. Nick was fucked by the game.
Oh, okay.
And he was fucked by the game and Jermaine Dupri.
Oh, yeah.
We're playing basketball. He was getting fucked in the ass, the basketball, off the Space Jam soundtrack. He was getting space jammed in his ass.
Yeah.
He was getting, his space was getting jammed.
What party?
No, Rob and Michelle Reiner asked if they could bring Nick to the Conan O'Brien party that they were at just before Nick killed them. If you're that concerned about your son being alone, do you maybe just skip the Conan O'Brien party for the year? Like, if you're like, listen, Conan, can we bring Nick? Because if we don't bring Nick, there's a chance he's going to kill all the animals in the house and himself. Do you maybe just go, hey, Conan, thanks for the invite. We send you a gift basket. We'd love to see you next year.
I mean, I guess if you dive more into it, I assume they just thought their son was generally depressed and wacky. They didn't know how deep the
Let's walk it through your Nick Reiner.
Oh,
right?
Good. I was worried you were going to say Fuentes.
He's alive. Although is Nick Reiner, we discussed this last week. It is very strange. He survived, right? He's not dead.
Who?
The kid?
The kid? I don't think he's dead.
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird that you'd kill your parents and then not yourself. That feels odd to me.
Feels like you've thought about this.
Well, usually after you kill your parents, you kill yourself.
Yeah.
I guess the Menendez brothers didn't.
Yeah.
whatever. But like, would be great.
That's more about if you hate your parents
and then kill them. Yeah,
you kill them. It's crime passions. That's the same as anything else. What you're describing is usually if I'm just generally mentally ill and I'm going to kill myself. Sometimes you kill other people around you. Chris Benoit-ish or whatever.
Yeah.
If that's what was going on with him, but if we don't know secretly he hated his parents and they weren't good parents, that I think that's why he didn't kill himself, which is actually makes me think maybe there was something there.
That's kind of interesting, right? Because generally speaking, when you just do the crazy kill
Goodbye
your family
world.
thing, it's you usually kill yourself afterwards. But anyways, point being, I probably just would have sat out the party. Not as again to say he deserved it. And on regard to the Trump derangement syndrome, listen, I don't think it's a good reason for him to get killed, but his fucking social media was fucking annoying. I mean, holy shit.
Rob Reiner or Nick Reiner?
Fucking Rob Reiner's fucking Facebook
no
was just blathering. I mean, good God. I almost get like what the fuck Trump said, to be completely honest with you. And it's funny because you give it a little bit of time and then all the messages surface of Rob Reiner basically just being like, if Trump died, it would be good. And you're like, okay, well, maybe we all just need to stop being awful. Maybe it's just time that we all stop wishing death on each other for whatever. I don't think the Rob Reiner fans are better than the Trump people.
No. What what's funny about Rob Reiner though is and I'm a more generally left-wing guy, so I'm not being
Same.
right? But it's almost like he was character acting as Meathead for his entire life.
It really started to get there at the end of things. And by the way, Rob Reiner made A Few Good Men alone. Between Wolf of Wall Street and A Few Good Men, I know he was just in Wolf of Wall Street, but
yeah. He was great in it though.
He was fucking great in it. And those two things alone would make me not want you to be murdered by your son.
Yeah.
But anyways. Anyway, prediction for 2026, we will start turning on whether or not Rob Reiner should have been killed. I think we will start feeling like, you know what? That wasn't actually as bad as we thought it was.
I don't know. You know what's difficult about that is I expected 2025 Menendez brothers would get parole. I kind of thought there was like a fever in there, and I think their situation will have way more support unless we.
Do you know what fucked them over?
What?
Truthfully, you know why the Menendez brothers are not going to be released? Courtside tickets to a Lakers game.
What is that?
Because so you're not familiar with this?
No.
After they killed their parents, there's a very, very famous basketball card. It's not Oscar Robertson. It's like Oscar Robinson or something. I can't remember exactly the player.
Yeah.
But it is the Menendez brothers. It's a famous card because in the background, the Menendez brothers are sitting courtside when the picture was taken for that basketball card. So,
right. But didn't they do that to cover up the murder? They went to the... They're like, no one would expect
us to go. I don't know. Or did they go, we have our parents' money and I'd love to sit courtside at a Lakers game. I think you go, if I'm the Menendez brothers and I just killed my probably abusive parents, I think you go, fuck yeah, let's go to a Lakers game. And then when you're at the Lakers game, you hit your brother and you go, hey, if anybody asks about this, we'll say like, yeah, this is to throw you off the scent.
Yeah.
But really, I think they were still kids. You know what I mean? I think they probably just want to go to a fucking Lakers game. And how much do you really think you're going to get away with killing your parents?
Again, back then, you probably thought it was more plausible.
Yeah, but
Possible? That's
things got to eat you inside. Plausible is fine. You were perfectly fine with plausible.
Yeah. I just feel like people just were more believable.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
Possible
no,
or
but I just
plausible.
meant-
There is a difference, but yeah.
People believed it more back then that you could get away with murder.
But I still don't think you're going to bed. The same way I don't think cavemen were poly. I don't think that no matter how fewer CCTV cameras there were, I don't think you go to bed comfy when you just killed your parents.
You know what's funny about the whole like they were poly, which I'm actually not. I don't really have an issue with. Poly and all this kind of stuff. I'm like,
hey, listen, if you want to be miserable and alone or whatever, truly in your heart, go nuts.
Yeah. Or you just want to be. I've had moments of being a pervert in my life. If you want to just be a pervert in general,
Yeah, but that's
I'm
not
cool
the
with
same
that.
thing. That's not what they're saying.
Okay. Well,
They're
either
saying
way.
that you genuinely like. It's like multiple. I love the person. Yeah,
Oh,
listen, if anyone wants to just go
I don't
be,
believe in multiple I love yous, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yes.
But if you want to, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah,
But their argument isn't that cavemen were poly. It's they put it a lot on some ethnicities without their permission.
Permission, yes. Yeah,
So
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
be like, "Hey, most African tribes were very gay."
yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
whoa,
whoa.
I'm not
AIDS?
against
Yeah.
the, but I'm against what?
Yeah, but not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. They'll be like, oh, this particular tribe is completely whatever.
Yeah.
And then someone shows up to the island and they throw spears at them till they
Yeah,
die.
yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's a good, you sound like libertarians describing egalitarian America.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I believe that is silly. And I think there is a harm to it. I think it is a little, not to get too into like conservative sort of whatever to it, but I do think there's just fucking harm to it. I think it's like selfishness. I'm not talking like you're a single guy or a single girl and you feel like going to blast away or whatever.
yeah.
That's
Whatever.
I think there's probably an emptiness to that too that you get bored of, but if you want to be poly, you probably just don't like the person you're with that much.
Yeah, I do.
Most of the poly relationships I've ever seen are. Here's how I've always described it: polyamory is like communism. It's great in theory, but it always ends up with a dictator. Usually, one person in that relationship is actually just doesn't think they're doing as well as they deserve to be doing, and they're kind of just looking for like let me look for somebody better while also I'm a codependent person, so I need the I need
validation of
I need to have the blanket, but then I also like I'm looking, but also you're not a good enough blanket. This blanket's got some fucking tears in it and whatever, and I'm looking for a better blanket, but
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
wear you because I'm cold. Yeah. So, anyways, fuck the guys fuck podcast.
That's why it came up. Yeah.
No, that was the original origin of it. But yeah. Also, the nice thing I think that's going on is that we are finding, I think 2026, and this is already a trend that started, politics is going to be less and less your personality. I think that people are going to go back to having a personality again. That who you voted for is not going to be everything fucking about you, and we're not going to kind of just section off onto who you voted for nearly as much again. I think there's going to be in 2026 a return to hobbies. I think we get back to doing things. I think people get back to having personalities outside of those things, and we return to a society where we have we have things to offer each other again. Because I think that's going to become more and more important. Financially, things are not going to get better.
No. Nothing will improve financially.
Not in 2026. I think the long term.
Yeah.
Listen, again, not to be when it comes to tariffs and a lot of the things that are causing hardships currently today, I think that you start to see the effects of those things further down the road in like 2027, 2028, and there's a return. You do see the frog belly of things turning around well. Just as everyone learned that BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard own everything, they're starting to sell stuff. You're seeing BlackRock selling real estate off now. You're seeing whatever. There is a tide that turned. When Trump crashed the stock market early in this, with the tariffs, early in this administration, a lot of people were very temporarily hurt by that. And they felt, and I believe that I maybe have I talked about this on a couple episodes ago, the over leveraging of the stock market. But the stock market was over leveraged at 85% by billionaires. Mm-hmm. So every dollar that was lost in the stock market, 85% of that hit went to billionaires, and 15% went to teachers and janitors with a good pension and people that worked at Ford or whatever. So I think that you see the effects of things like that coming down the road. State Street, Vanguard, BlackRock were hurt by that. They took that 80% thing on the chin more than anybody else, and we're seeing those effects. Is it completely, have we won? Like, did we blow the Death Star up? Absolutely not. And even if we did do enough damage to those Death Stars that someone can come along and eat them up, we just got to be careful someone doesn't come along and eat all three of those up, right? And ultimately, if you actually look into those companies are also owned by people, and there's an argument to be made that Merrill Lynch secretly is BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. You can actually look at how secular things are, and you don't even know where the damage is done. But ultimately, damage is being done. And liberals, again, you owe Donald Trump a thank you for that long term that you'll never give him for like 50 years until history books actually tell you what happened in this period of time and why that was so incredibly fucking necessary. However, I'm sorry that your shitty, cheap clothes from China are now more expensive before you wear them once and throw them in the ocean. So that's now the midterms. We're going to have some midterm elections in the U.S. coming up. I do think that you will see the Democrats aren't completely head up the ass right now. So you are, and I think it's very easy to predict pretty much any single time you have a lame duck presidency going into whatever, you're going to, if you have the House and the Congress or Congress and the Senate, you're going to lose one or two of them. That's just politics. So the Republicans are going to lose one or two of them. But I think the Democrats have lost one of their best tools, which is abortion. And I think that, again, things that we will look back on Trump in 50 years, as much as everyone thinks he's the bad guy in Roe versus Wade, I've explained this before. I think in 50 years, you are going to look at what he did and go, that actually was the tipping point on where abortion became cauterized and just became a thing that's going to be legal going forward in pretty much every state, aside from a few weird random ones. It will be, like, aside from your Mississippi's and Alabama's, abortion will be cauterized and illegal in every state. And he will end up being historically kind of the good guy in the abortion debate. I think that's a thing you'll see. I think you will see on a state level more liberal policies. I will mention him because even just mentioning him, and we'll clip this because the last time I talked about Zoran, it did very good numbers. But you will see more support going on to Zoran. And I think you might actually see a legitimate push by Democrats and by the left in 2026 to go more towards Zoran type figures. Will a lot of them be empty suits? Will they be cosplaying Zoran? Absolutely. They'll be full of shit. You will see Gavin Newsom's and Corey
Holcomb.
Corey Holcomb's do abortion. I was selling abortion baby clothes at an abortion clinic. No, what's the fucking fake Obama from Jersey? The black guy, Cory Booker.
Oh,
you will see all these like Democrats that have been pushed out. They're gonna all start trying out their Zoran fucking speeches. I think the only one that should come out of any of that clean, and I think that he will, and you will see him be the candidate for the Democrats, or at least be the Bernie candidate that everyone is behind, and maybe they'll fuck him and put Buttigieg or somebody else in. But you're going to start hearing about Ro Khanna a lot more. People who pay attention to this shit are obviously going to roll their eyes and go, of course, Ro Khanna. But Ro Khanna will be the face of the Democrats coming out of this, and he'll owe a lot of that to Zoran pushing things over to whatever. So expect a lot out of Ro Khanna. I think you're going to hear a lot from Bernie this year. I think that as things settle, because I think that Bernie thrives the most. Bernie does not thrive when things are Epstein files. When the news cycle is that shit, he doesn't do well. I think whatever. Will Trump invade Venezuela? I think there's probably a pretty good chance you see regime change in Venezuela this year if you're a Venezuelan. Venezuela is so tricky because all the Venezuelans I've ever met, Venezuelans here hate socialism and communism, but Venezuelans there feel very different about it.
I don't think they're allowed to feel what they want to feel.
I don't know that that's 100% true. And I'm a Hugo Chavez guy. And I fully believe Hugo Chavez, we gave Hugo Chavez cancer. Like, I don't think that, I think Venezuelans that are here hated Hugo Chavez. I don't think that those elections were nearly as rigged.
I think they hate him now. I think that whole area, my dad's from that area. My dad's from the neighboring country to that area. There's always going to be a debate. Like, who's known to some people in Guyana as their greatest or worst dictator. You can see in the comment section, documentaries about him and stuff like that on YouTube. There's people supporting him, being like, "Oh, things were so much better under Burnham or whatever." Right? So there's a little of that going on, but I do think Chavez and Maduro now and stuff like that. There's a bit of like they can't say it, but it's like we thought it was great at the time, similar to Cuba.
Fidel?
Yeah. It seemed great at the time. Things are shit now. Maybe this was a bad. I think that's kind of. I could be wrong.
I guess, but I just think so often, and I think Fidel's a great example of this, right? People go, oh, look at Cuba. They got the 50s cars and they've got the whatever. But what's the chicken and the egg in the situation? Is America's embargo against Cuba not the reason that all happened? Like, it's very easy I feel like this happens in comedy a lot with me personally. I think to compare myself to Cuba.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's easy to malign somebody and try to harm them, and like, again, I think there has been to put it personally, I think it's pretty easy to say there's been an embargo on me in this comedy community. Mm-hmm. Like, there's been a lot of things placed in my way. So then afterwards, it's easy to go, oh, he's not where he should be, and it's like, yeah, but you won't sell me food. Yeah. Like, what am I supposed to do exactly? You're creating the conditions for my suffering and then going, look at that suffering. Isn't he wrong? And no, listen, I'm not like a communism guy fully, but I'm also not, listen, I'm not a conservative, but do I think that it would be better if the next Prime Minister of Canada was a conservative? Yes. Mm-hmm. Because I think under certain conditions, things have gone in one direction for too long that you need to push them in the other direction. So when a country like Venezuela, it is easy to go, well, communism would be bad for us because we live in a very different situation. But when you look at a situation where, hey, like, again, where did communism ever work? Well, China has raised more people out of poverty than any point in history since man. Mm-hmm. China has raised more people out of extreme poverty than any political faction ever in human history. But that's not me. That's not bias. That's the facts. If you look at what extreme poverty is, China took their people out of it. Now, are they still, some of them in poverty? It could be better. Whatever. Fine. And do people need, what communism takes away from people is, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I think, by the way, is a thing that is not taught enough anymore or not focused on enough. Maslow's hierarchy is very important. Shelter, food, whatever, of course, at the bottom. Communism does a very good job of taking care of the lower half of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where I think America does a very terrible job of taking care of the bottom part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But okay, so both of them. So communism does a bad job of allowing you to get to the top of the pyramid, but America does a bad job of allowing you to have the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy. You can't reach the top unless you have the bottom. Like, how many people that could be exceptional in America go to the wayside because they didn't get shelter, security, food, where, yes, in China, how many people are getting to self-actualization? Yeah, maybe not a lot because you end up in this whatever, but maybe they are, because maybe when you know that you don't have, like, if you looked at Canada versus the US for a long period of time in entrepreneurship rates, Canada did much better because we had a social safety net. Whereas if you had a great idea, what's like one of the best ideas of the last 10 years?
Polyamory.
Well, no, I mean, say like business ideas. Right?
Oh.
Let's just say Netflix.
Yeah,
right?
streaming.
Let's say you wanted to start Netflix.
Yeah.
You had this idea, you understood streaming, you were ahead of the game, and you wanted to start that company. If you knew that you could start that company and not be homeless if it went wrong, how much more likely are you to take that chance than if you start that company and it goes wrong, your family, your loved ones, everyone is on the street, right? So now Americans will, or exceptionalists or conservatives or whatever you want to say, will go, yes, but when you have that pressure of you might be on the street, that bootstraps mentality, you push harder, you work harder, and you get it across the finish line. In my opinion, from what I've seen from the world, that also means you cut a lot of corners. You fuck a lot of people over. Yes, you have to do what you have to do to not end up on the street, but that doesn't mean you necessarily do the right thing. Mm-hmm. It just means you do the thing that means you're not on the street.
Right.
And I think that has a lot of very negative outcomes. Again, I maybe said this on a podcast before, but if I was going to fix one thing about America, if I became president and I was going to do one thing, it is a CEO's fiduciary responsibility to its shareholders. Mm-hmm. You being a crime, that's got to go tomorrow.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Because that's why public companies when a company becomes public, it goes to shit because you have to cut corners. You have to fuck people. You have to fire people. The service gets shittier. The product gets shittier. Everything goes to hell because legally the CEO has to. He ain't a bad guy. Hey, Luigi, honestly, kind of cool what you did in a, sort of punk way. But ultimately, you sort of misunderstood what the system was. That CEO was doing what he literally legally had to do until that system changes, nothing changes. Mm-hmm. And my prediction for 2026 on that is that shit ain't changing. So that's really what the most important thing would be. Okay, let's rapid fire a few things. This is the biggest one, and we should probably do a breakaway clip on this guy. In 2026, part of this Venezuela shit, part of all of these attacks on South America, I'm going to go ahead and predict it will happen this year. It might take to 27, 28. Don't hold that against me if it does, because these wheels move slowly. You are going to see a EU-style deal between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. All of you liberals who thought Pierre Poilievre was like the super America guy and whatever, you're going to find out that Carney is going to be the one that actually signs the deal that erases our border. It's going to be a free-for-all. We will have a one currency. We will have open borders between the three. We will have a trade agreement that applies to us and no one else. Because the fact of the matter is, America's not stupid. They need tariffs, but they also understand that the natural resources exist above them and below them. So they will make a deal to have more access to whatever natural resources they need. Because think about it this way. If they get Canada and they get Mexico, what do they need? Right. They've got avocados and they've got oil. That's everything they need. So they can say fuck you to Europe. They can say fuck you to China. They'll find a couple outlier countries in each place, right? Mm-hmm. You say you need something from the Asian peninsula or whatever, or is that a peninsula? Whatever. Say you need something from Australasia, right? You find your one country in Australasia that's now your hub, right? So, and let me explain this quickly, but I'm going to bring this back to a book I'll probably reference pretty frequently called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. It's a great book. I think everybody should read that book. It should be taught in school, quite frankly. And I'll explain it quick. The author of the book was what he refers to as an economic hitman. He explains that basically there are three levels to the shadow government when they want to take over a country. There is economic hitman, there's jackal, and there's boots on the ground. So an economic hitman is what he did, which basically he takes responsibility for creating the Mujahideen and funding 9/11. Mm-hmm. the idea was he would suggest, okay, let's just take a random country. Let's say Cote d'Ivoire in Africa. Say we want Cote d'Ivoire, right? So what he would do as an NGO, and this has a lot to do with, remember at the beginning of Trump when Elon was defunding a bunch of shit and USA Aid became like a big story or whatever? USA Aid was a piece of shit. History will completely exonerate that. USA Aid was the fucking CIA. That was them going around the world doing a bunch of fucking shady CIA bullshit. But 10% of what they spent got to like giving fucking like militia leaders condoms to rape children with so they didn't get AIDS. Like that's what USAA did. They did the worst things in the world, and 10% of the money went to something that looked nice so they could get away with the awful thing. That's essentially what the economic hitman label was. So they would go around. He had a lot to do in South America. He funded the Mujahideen. Then it's Jackal. That's when we like kill Noriega in the plane. When like, oh, his plane went down in the 80s. Mm-hmm. That's a Jackal. That's when we just assassinate a leader of a country to overthrow it. And if we can't get to that, that's when we have Iraq. That's when we do boots on the ground and actually go into whatever. So with this sort of American Union thing that I'm predicting, what is going to happen is all of this immigration, all of the whatever, they will go to their countries. They'll make Fortress America. They'll have their, again, avocados and their snow, like, and they'll have both those things, and then they will go, hey, Vietnam, do you want to be the Israel of Asia? Hey, whatever, fucking Sudan. That's a bad choice, but you get the idea. Yeah. Do you want to be Africa's Israel? And they will go around and they will create little mini Israels everywhere. And then what will happen is if we want some shit from China, China will sell it to whatever our Israel is in Asia. And then we will have a trade agreement with that country as opposed to China. And we will get our shit. We'll get our fucking rhino dicks from there.
Only
right?
the best dicks.
Only the best rhino dicks. But that's what the tariff regime ends up with. Canada, and by the way, I'm all for it because then I can go work the U.S. again without legal problems. So that's my big one. Ultimately, let me just rapid fire through a few other things. Technology and AI. Again, we're going to hear all sorts of shit about AI. This is going to be the year you start going, man, it's like this is going to be the flying car year for AI. It's going to be the year that some people start looking around going, this AI shit hasn't done nearly as much as it said it was going to do. Sports, you're going to see it's going to start with the NBA. This is not a hard prediction because if you follow the NBA, you know that they have started to go and branch off into NBA Europe, and they're going to look to expand. All the sports leagues go global starting in 2026. Instead of allowing them to have their European leagues, the KHL for hockey, the whatever, all of that will be NHL Russia. And you will see your retired NBA players that aren't quite good enough to be stars anymore. You'll see your, maybe not LeBron because that's too big, but Kevin Durant will go play in fucking Israel for 3 years and like take pictures with dead Gazan kids while making some good money. That will be the future of sports. Sports betting will continue to ruin more and more lives. And we will start seeing the bubbling up of that being the new heroin epidemic. You will look at, there will start being the beginning of some government intervention and some pushback on all of this sports betting. And again, I will say all of my friends, Andrew Schultz, you have a massive platform. You make a ton of money. Stop taking their money. You don't fucking need it. Everyone makes fun of Gas Digital for taking Kratom's money. They need the fucking Kratom money. Andrew, you don't. Stop taking sports betting fucking money. You know Sagar. You know his opinion on it. I know that Sagar has talked to you about this. Stop taking their fucking money. You don't need it. In 10 years, you will look back at taking Stake and DraftKings and whatever one of these fucking people offer you the money. It will be literally the same as accepting money from Oxycontin 10 years ago. Stop doing it. And I'll start with you because I know you more than anyone else can say no thank you to them tomorrow and be fucking fine. Stop, dude. You're fucking hurting people. There's that. Science and space and things that people like to do. I don't have a whole lot of... that was a weird topic. Things rich people like to do. Listen, they're not going to go to space and go in submarines as much. I think we're going to see that, like, they get bored of that. Rich people, you want to know what rich people want? They want to hang out with celebrities. You will continue to see rich people just become celebrities and a mixing of those two cultures. Like, that's all it's going to be. That's why now Ted Sarandos from Netflix, this guy will start being famous. Fucking Larry Ellison from Paramount, he'll start being famous. These people are going to start becoming pop culture figures, and that's it. The environment, nothing will change. Things will be shitty as they've always been, and we'll think it's a trend that we don't fully understand, but every bad thing will be confirmation bias that things are getting worse. Social trends, the kids continue to rebel against all this shit. They become more black-pilled and nihilistic. Health and fitness, you're going to see more and more people let their health deteriorate and just rely on Ozempic. And any other ones you want to throw out there before we wrap this up?
Strip clubs will become popular again.
I don't think that that's wrong. I think because that's the live experience.
Right.
I think the OnlyFans market goes down.
I think OnlyFans is going down.
And the strip club market goes back up. I think you see, and by the way, there will be a surgence of new girls on the pole because as those OnlyFans numbers go down, you've already ruined your life, right? Like you can't go back to polite society. And as like now you can't just sit at home and show your pussy for money. You're going to have to go out and show your pussy in public now, which, let's be honest, none of you ever really wanted to do, but they got you.
Yep.
They tricked you. You fucking thought you could stay at home and do it forever, and it turns out the novelty of that runs thin, and now you're going to have to go grab a Lysol bottle and fucking swing around a few times.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that's a good bet. Catacombs Cabaret becomes the most successful venue to open in 2026. I guess technically we're opening in 2026. That being said, please check us out on Instagram. That's where we are right now. That's where the new podcast. This podcast coming out January 5th. Tonight, if you're listening to this, we're starting to do this podcast live from this very location. I'll be sitting right over there. Sanker will be doing something fun, whatever.
Over there, yeah.
We're going to have to put a blanket over your eye because I don't want the reveal. No one knows what you look like.
I want to
yet.
be Wizard of Ozzy.
I think we have to put you in the sound booth
I'm
with
okay with
the thing.
that.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
fun. And then we'll finally have the reveal at some point. Yeah. At a certain, we're going to wait till we have at least 20 audience members for a podcast. That's going to be the ploy. Until 20 of you show up to a live podcast, we will not show you what Sanker looks like.
Right. And then when they see me, someone has to yell, well, that's a horse of a different color.
Sure, absolutely. So, a few things to promote here. Zach Amico will be here January 9th and 10th. 2 stand-up shows, a midnight spook show, and a casting couch, which also returns January 5th. January 5th, 8 p.m. every Monday. Rob Loves Arguing live right here. 10 p.m. The casting couch returns every Monday. And then we'll a couple other things to promote. Check the website. We got all sorts of things going on. Steve Heitner, Kenny Bania from Seinfeld here. Valentine's Day weekend. If you're a wrestling fan, we've got the Blue Meanie here doing a Royal Rumble watch along and a couple other shows January 31st. You can get all this stuff on ticketscene.ca. I've got lots of shows here. Lots of things to show up. We opened this last weekend and it was a like out the gates. I feel pretty successful with the thing. I think that we realized quickly this thing's going to work. So jump on board while it's early because I think we're going to have to start turning people away not that long down the road. I haven't done a ton in my life that worked out. I have a good feeling that in 2026, this will be a place that works out. Sankar, I think in 2026, are you getting married in 2026?
It's looking like 2027.
You're really gonna do that?
Well, we gotta, save a little money. We're talking about things that might cost more money.
You have a venue.
Oh, we're talking about buying land and then having the wedding on the land.
Well, first of all, we're gonna talk to you about that a little bit first because we've had this thought for a while that I'm gonna say right now in 2026. Another prediction I'm gonna make: venues are going to have to fucking get their head out of their asses. People are going to start figuring out you're not that special. You don't provide that much. And they're going to start finding alternatives. Mm-hmm. Weddings, any social gatherings, concerts, whatever. This is going to be a year where, like COVID, because we already had this, COVID kind of gave us the blueprint for how to go outside conventional venues and get shit done. Those things are going to start getting applied to weddings and other things. What he's saying is the future of weddings. If you're a wedding planner, start going. If you're a wedding planner in 2026, say you're in the greater Toronto area, go to people with nice houses in Burlington on the lake with a nice backyard. Instead of an Airbnb, you're going to start seeing Airbnbs for weddings, Airbnbs for events. It exists a little bit with Peerspace and things now, but you're going to see more and more people pushing to go to things like that. You can put your own liquor license in. You can put your own whatever in. Those things are going to be important. It's a DIY year. We've been heading in that direction completely, but it heads further and further in that direction. We take it back. All these corporate overlords, we're getting chipped away. We're heading in the right direction. I see things are going to be very positive. Keep fighting that fight. Keep being part of the resistance. Fuck Live Nation. We love you very much. I hope you have a great 2026, and we look forward to seeing you more. Thank you. Good night.